Please welcome to the stage Dr. Lisa Su, Chair and CEO.
Good morning. How's everyone doing? It is great to be back here in Silicon Valley with so many friends, press, analysts, partners, and especially all of the developers who are here today. And a big welcome to everyone who's joining online from around the world for our Advancing AI 2025. Now, it's been an incredibly busy 9 months since our last Advancing AI event. We launched lots of new AI data center, PC, and gaming products. But today, we have so much exciting news to share with you. I'd like to go ahead and get started. Now, you guys know us well. At AMD, we're really focused on pushing the boundaries of high performance and adaptive computing to help solve some of the world's most important challenges. And frankly, computing has never been more important in the world. I'm always incredibly proud to say that billions of people use AMD technology every day. Whether you're talking about services like Microsoft Office 365, or Facebook, or Zoom, or Netflix, or Uber, or Salesforce, or SAP, and many more, you're running on AMD infrastructure. And in AI, the biggest cloud and AI companies are using Instinct to power their latest models and new production workloads. And there's a ton of new innovation that's going on with the new AI startups. For example, life sciences company 310 AI uses MI300X to train a model that turns simple text prompts into novel proteins to really help accelerate drug discovery. Our Versal AI adaptive SoCs are being used to build more efficient 5G networks and improve automotive driver safety. And Resin is bringing AI to PCs, enabling more intuitive, responsive, and more powerful experiences. Now, since ChatGPT launched a few years ago, the pace of AI innovation has been unlike anything I've seen in my career. And in 2025, it's only gone faster. We've seen the emergence of more powerful reasoning models, the rise of agents, really growing momentum in real-world use cases that are actually starting massive scale deployments. And it's clear that we're entering the next chapter of AI. Now, training is always going to be the foundation to develop the models. But what has really changed is the demand for inference has grown significantly, driven by more capable models and new use cases that are increasing AI usage. We're also seeing an explosion of models. So, of course, you have the new frontier models from folks like OpenAI and Google. But you also have open models from Meta and DeepSeek and many others. And we're also seeing now a surge in new specialized models that are built from everything from healthcare to finance to coding to scientific research. And when you look over the next few years, one of the things that we see is we expect hundreds of thousands and eventually millions of purpose-built models, each tuned for specific tasks, industry, or use cases. And as AI does more complex tasks like reasoning, you expect agents to become more capable. It drives significantly more compute, which frankly is great for all of us. Now, let me talk a little bit about agentic AI. Agentic AI actually represents a new class of user. One thing that is always on, constantly accessing data, looking at applications, looking at systems to really make decisions and really work autonomously. They need high-performance GPUs to generate insights in real time, but that's really only part of the story. What we're seeing now is as agentic AI activity increases, all of those agents are now also spawning a lot of traditional compute going to high-performance CPUs. And just think about it. What we're actually seeing is we're adding the equivalent of billions of new virtual users to the global compute infrastructure. All of these agents are here to help us, and that requires lots of GPUs and lots of CPUs working together in an open ecosystem. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the market. When we were here last year, we said that we expected the data center AI accelerator TAM to grow more than 60% annually to $500 billion in 2028. And frankly, for many of the analysts and folks, at the time, that seemed like a really big number. People were like, do you really think it can be that big, Lisa? And I said, well, that's what we're seeing. And what I can tell you, based on everything that we see today, that number is going to be even higher, exceeding $500 billion in 2028. And most importantly, we always believed that inference was actually be the driver of AI going forward. And we can now see that inference inflection point. With all the new use cases and reasoning models, we now expect that inference is going to grow more than 80% a year for the next few years, really becoming the largest driver of AI compute. And we expect that high-performance GPUs are going to be the vast majority of that market because they provide the flexibility and programmability that you need as models are continuing to evolve and really algorithms are moving so fast. You want that programmability in your compute infrastructure. Now, the other thing that we see is AI is also moving beyond the data center, from intelligent systems at the edge to PC experiences. And we expect to see AI deployed in every single device. Now, to enable all of this, you don't have any one architecture that is the right answer. So I like to say there's really no one size that fits all. What you need is the right compute for each use case, and that's exactly what we're focused on. Our strategy is really focused on three key principles. First, we're delivering a broad portfolio of compute engines so customers can match the right compute to the right model and the right use case. Second, we're investing heavily in an open developer-first ecosystem. And you're going to hear us talk about open a lot today. We're really supporting every major framework, every library, every model to bring the industry together in open standards so that everyone can contribute to AI innovation. And third, we're delivering full stack solutions. We're forging partnerships. You're going to hear from some of our partners about our ecosystem today to really put all of these elements together. So now let me just give you a little bit of color. From a portfolio standpoint, we offer the most complete suite of computing elements end to end for this vision. That includes CPUs, GPUs, DPUs, NICs, FPGAs, and adaptive SoCs. No matter where AI runs or how much compute you need, AMD has the right solution. Next, let's talk about open. There are a lot of developers in this audience and online, so this is really talking to you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming today. And we believe an open ecosystem is actually essential to the future of AI. AMD is the only company committed to openness across hardware, software, and solutions. And when you just take a look back, some of the most important breakthroughs in tech actually started out closed. If you think about things like early networking protocols, Unix operating systems, and even mobile platforms. But the history of our industry shows us that time and time again, innovation truly takes off when things are open. Linux surpassed Unix as a data center operating system of choice when global collaboration was unlocked. Android's open platform helped scale mobile computing to billions of users. And in each case, openness delivered more competition, faster innovation, and eventually a better outcome for users. And that's why for us at AMD, and frankly for us as an industry, openness shouldn't be just a buzzword. It is actually critical to how we accelerate the scale, adoption, and impact of AI over the coming years. Now, we also recognize that these AI systems are getting super complicated, and full-stack solutions are really critical. So to deliver full-stack AI solutions, we've significantly expanded our investments over the last few years, both organically and through strategic acquisitions and investments. We're very happy to say that we recently closed our acquisition of ZT, giving us new capabilities in rack and data center scale design that are becoming extremely useful for what we're doing next. And we've also strengthened our software stack, acquiring leaders like Nod.ai, Mipsology, Silo AI, and in the last several weeks, we announced adding the Brium and the Lemoni teams to AMD. And we're also investing broadly in the AI ecosystem. Over the last year, we've actually done more than 25 strategic investments that have been a great way for us to build new relationships and also support the AI software and hardware leaders of tomorrow. So let's talk a little bit about customers. We have tremendous momentum in the data center. Since launching in 2017, EPYC has transformed the data center. Today, EPYC is trusted by the world's largest cloud providers and businesses to run their most important workloads. EPYC powers everything from hyperscale services to enterprise data centers, supporting the most important workloads with leaders in financial services, healthcare, media, and manufacturing. And our momentum is just accelerating. We exited the last quarter with a record 40% market share, and we believe with AI and high-performance compute, there's a lot more room for us to grow. In AI, MI250X and MI300A enabled the exascale supercomputing era. I'm very happy to say, actually this week, there was a new top 500 list that was released, and AMD powers the 2 fastest supercomputers in the world. So that's pretty cool. And thank you. And with MI300X and 325, we've extended that leadership to Gen AI with large-scale internal and cloud deployments at Microsoft, Meta, Oracle, and many others. And I'm happy to say we've added a lot of new Instinct customers in the last 9 months. Today, 7 of the top 10 model builders and AI companies are using Instinct in their data centers. Leaders like OpenAI, Meta, xAI, and Tesla. Innovators like Cohere, Luma, and Essential, and many, many more. You're going to hear from several of them. They're our guests here today, and they'll tell you a little bit about how we work together. Now, as powerful as our hardware is, it's truly the software that enables their full potential. And I hear from lots of you as developers on what we can do better in software. I can say that I hear you, and our ROCm software stack continues to make just incredible progress. We're really focused on broadening the coverage for AI models, accelerating the pace of our releases, and really setting a North Star of a developer-first mentality with ROCm. When you hear me talk to our engineers, what I say is it is all about the developer experience. It's all about what you guys say. And this is our guiding principle. So you're going to hear a lot about that from Vamsi today. And then for those of you who are going to be able to stay with us this afternoon, we have a ton of developer content to just show you how you can really use AMD and ROCm. Well, look, we have a full lineup today of new announcements across hardware, software, and solutions. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Now, since launching MI300 less than 2 years ago, we're on an annual cadence of new Instinct accelerators. With the MI350 series, we're delivering the largest generational performance leap in the history of Instinct. And we're already deep in development of MI400 for 2026 that is really designed from the ground up as a rack-level solution. So today, I'm super excited to launch the MI350 series, our most advanced AI platform ever that delivers leadership performance across the most demanding models. This series, you'll hear us talk about the MI355 and the MI350. They're actually the same silicon, but MI355 supports higher thermals and power envelopes so that we can even deliver more real-world performance. And thank you, Drew. My favorite part. Here is MI355. This is our flagship product, and I'm showing this to you. It's powered by our latest 4th-gen Instinct architecture. It supports new data formats like FP4. It uses the latest HBM3E memory, and it has 185 billion transistors across 10 chiplets, all integrated with our leadership 3D packaging. So what do you guys think? All right, thank you, Drew. the MI350 series delivers just a massive 4x generational leap in AI compute to accelerate both training and inference. With an industry-leading 288 gigabytes of memory, we can now run models up to 520 billion parameters on a single GPU. The MI350 series also uses the same industry-standard UBB8 platform as MI300 and MI325. This is actually really important because it actually makes it super easy to deploy MI350 series into existing data center infrastructure. Now, if you look at the specs compared to the competition, 355 supports 1.6x more memory and delivers higher flops across a wide range of AI data types. And especially if you look at FP6 and FP64, we're double the throughput. Now, what does that mean? That means that you have leadership performance at both ends of the spectrum, whether you're talking about leading-edge AI models or large-scale scientific simulation or engineering applications. Now, at the platform level, an MI355X server has massive memory capacity and compute relative to the competition. We're talking about 161 petaflops of FP4 compute and 2.3 terabytes of HBM3E memory. And we have it in both air-cooled and liquid-cooled configs, giving customers the flexibility to meet their specific thermal, power, and density needs. Now let's look at some of the performance. We set an ambitious goal with MI350 series to deliver a 35x generational increase in AI performance. And today, I'm proud to say that we've delivered that. On Llama 3.1, MI355 delivers 35x higher throughput when running at ultra-low latencies, which is required for some real-time applications like code completion, simultaneous translation, and transcription. We also deliver significantly higher performance across a wide range of AI applications, things like chatbots, or content generation, or summarization, or conversational AI. We can see performance up to 4.2x higher gen on gen. And now when you look across a wide range of models, we see great performance as well. In DeepSeek and Llama 4 Maverick, we're seeing things like triple the tokens per second, gen on gen. So that level of performance drives faster responses and the ability to serve more users with much, much greater efficiency. Now let's take a look at the competitive performance. When running DeepSeek R1 or Llama 3.1, MI355 delivers leadership throughput using open source frameworks like SGLang and VLLM. We're generating up to 30% more tokens per second compared to B200, and actually matching the performance of the significantly more expensive and complex GB200, even when the competition is using their latest proprietary software stack. This is actually pretty cool because it tells you a couple things, right? It first says that we have really strong hardware, which we always knew, but it also shows that the open software frameworks have made tremendous progress to the point where they are outperforming a closed vendor-specific ecosystem. And when you combine all of that performance with lower CapEx, what we're seeing is MI355 can deliver up to 40% more tokens per dollar than competing solutions. $40% more tokens per dollar. That means higher throughput, greater efficiency, much better TCO for cloud and enterprise, and it really makes MI355 the best choice in the industry for inference at scale. Now let's talk about the future and how we're expanding our rack scale solutions portfolio to essentially deliver compute performance, efficiency, and density that customers need over the coming years. Today, I am super excited to give you a first look at the next big step for our AI roadmap, the Instinct MI400 series. You may hear us call it MI400 series. You may hear us call it MI450. MI400 series is really bringing together everything we've learned across silicon, software, and systems to deliver a fully integrated AI rack platform. And this guy was built from the grounds up for leadership for both large-scale training and distributed inference. Let me now introduce you to our Helios AI rack. Helios is truly a game changer. For the first time, we architected every part of the rack as a unified system. That's combining our CPUs, our GPUs, our Pensando NICs, and our ROCm software all together in one platform. And it's really purpose-built for the most demanding AI workloads, from training to the largest frontier models to scaling inference across thousands of nodes. But Helios has more than just lots of compute. We also have leadership memory capacity, leadership memory bandwidth, and leadership interconnect speed. And all of that is delivered in an open OCP-compliant rack that supports both Ultra Ethernet and UA Link. And when Helios launches in 2026, we believe it'll set a new benchmark for AI at scale. So think of Helios as really a rack that functions like a single massive compute engine. It connects up to 72 GPUs with 260 terabytes per second of scale-up bandwidth. It enables 2.9 exaflops of FP4 performance. And that is a great number, but Helios goes even further. Compared to the competition, we support 50% more HBM4 memory bandwidth, and scale-out bandwidth. And these are big advantages. I mean, this is our sweet spot. We've always had this memory architecture. And what this translates in is faster training, higher inference throughput, and the ability to really handle massive models. Now, let's take a look at each of the components that make Helios possible. Starting with our next generation EPYC processor, codenamed Venice. Venice extends our leadership across every dimension that matters in the data center: more performance, better efficiency, and outstanding total cost of ownership. It's built on TSMC's 2-nanometer process and features up to 256 high-performance Zen 6 cores, and it delivers 70% more compute performance than our current generation leadership Turin CPUs. And to really keep feeding MI400 with data at full speed, even at rack scale, we've doubled both the GPU and the memory bandwidth and optimized Venice to run at higher speeds. And you heard from Forrest how important the CPUs are. Now, we just got Venice back in the labs, and it is looking fantastic. Now, at the heart of Helios, though, is the MI400 series. This is truly the most advanced accelerator we've ever built. It's really the engine for the next generation of AI, and it's designed to run trillion-plus parameter models. We deliver up to 40 petaflops of FP4 performance. We have 432 gigabytes of HBM4 and supports 300 gigabytes per second of scale-out bandwidth to connect across racks and clusters. And now, as you've also heard from Forrest, we need a high-performance networking fabric to connect all of that. And that's why we're also introducing Volcano, our next-generation scale-out AI NIC. Volcano is fully UEC 1.0 compliant. It supports PCIe and UAL interfaces to connect directly both CPUs and GPUs. And it delivers 800 gigabits per second of line rate throughput to scale for the largest systems. Now, with Helios, every GPU in the rack is connected through the high-speed, low-latency UA link tunneled over standard Ethernet. Now, when you look at our AI roadmaps, every generation is always special, but Helios is truly a giant step forward. With MI355, we're taking a big step forward. You've heard some of that this morning. We're delivering 3x more performance across a broad range of workloads, extremely competitive versus the state of the art today. And with Helios, we're bending that curve further. The MI400 series is expected to deliver up to 10x more performance for the most advanced frontier models, making MI400 the highest performing accelerator. One of those customers who has been a very, very early design partner, who has given us significant feedback on the requirements for next generation training and inference, is OpenAI. And we have a very special guest today. I am so happy to say that this person is a great friend, someone who is really an icon in AI. To hear more about our work, please welcome OpenAI founder and CEO Sam Altman to the stage. Can I call you an AI icon?
I don't think so, but that's okay.
I like-
You know what? It's your show. You do whatever you want.
Sam, look, we are truly so happy and excited to be your partner. OpenAI has truly been at the center of the universe. Everyone listens to what Sam Altman has to say when it comes to Gen AI, and I think
they just listen to ChatGPT at this point.
Actually, I listen to ChatGPT.
We'll take it.
Some of the numbers I've seen, like over 500 million weekly active users, just amazing growth. Can you just give us a little bit of a landscape? Where are we today? What's the state of play? What are you seeing? What's most exciting right now?
It's definitely been, for us and many other people, just an explosion of usage over the last year. I think the models have gotten good enough that people have been able to build really great products, text, images, voice, all kinds of reasoning capabilities. We've seen extremely quick adoption in the enterprise now. Coding's been one area people talk a lot about. But I think what we're hearing again and again in all these different ways is that these tools have gone from things that were, fun and curious to like truly useful.
Doing real work
for people's personal lives. And the fact that you can now like ask a system like Codex to go off and do some like work for you autonomously over minutes or hours, it's like pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, I think the key point that you said is really enterprises are seeing lots and lots of value. I think the other thing that's been amazing is, man, I mean, the rate and pace of what you guys are putting out, it seems like every week you have a new model. Workloads are just changing so fast. Like, what are you seeing? Like, how are things changing? And, most importantly for us, like, how are you seeing compute demands changing?
I mean, tons have changed all the time, but one of the biggest differences has been we've moved to these reasoning models. So we have these very long rollouts where a model will go off and think about a problem and come back with a better answer, or, like in some cases, like a whole PR ready to go. But this has really put pressure on model efficiency and long context rollouts. We need tons of compute, tons of memory, tons of CPUs as well.
I've seen that actually.
And our infrastructure ramp over the last year and what we're looking at over the next year has just been a crazy, crazy thing to watch.
Is there ever enough GPUs?
I mean, like theoretically, at some point, you can see that like a significant fraction of the power on Earth should be spent running AI compute, and maybe we're going to get there.
Yes. No, that's definitely true. Look, we have been honored. Really, we've really appreciated the partnership and collaboration between OpenAI and AMD over the last few years. Working together in Azure, working on some of your research stuff, and particularly the deep design on MI450. I think you guys were really early in just some of the important insights. Can you just tell us a little bit about how that's evolved and sort of like how we can do more for you?
It's been amazing working with you all, obviously, and we're already running some work on the 300X, but the MI450 series, I think, and the work we've been able to do there is you've worked on that over the last couple of years, and we're very grateful for listening to our input. Hopefully, we'll be a good representative for what the industry as a whole needs. But we are extremely excited for the MI450. The memory architecture is great for inference. I believe it can be an incredible option for training as well. And when you first started telling me what you were thinking about for the specs, I was like, there's no way. That just sounds totally crazy. That's too big. But it's really been so exciting to see you all get close to delivery on this. And I think it's going to be an amazing thing.
Well, first of all, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that very much. One of the things that really sticks in my mind is when we sat down with your engineers, they were like, whatever you do, just give us lots and lots of flexibility because things change so much. And really that framework of working together has been phenomenal. Now, Sam, look, this is a moment here where we have lots of folks in AI wanting to know, like, what's next. So help us with big picture. Like, what do you see in the future? Perspective on where things go, How did the workloads evolve? What happens with, quote unquote AGI, and really, how do we as AMD and we as the computing industry kind of help enable all of that for you?
At the beginning of the 2020s, we didn't kind of have AI as we think of it today yet. We had a bunch of other systems, but that was still, the pre-GPT-3 era, just by a little bit. And now as we sit at the sort of like halfway mark through the decade, it's really been remarkable progress from, not even a GPT-3 model to GPT 4.5 and 03, these models that really feel smart and helpful and can give these sort of, real utility experiences where people would look at this if they could go back in time and say that feels almost impossible. Like if you went back to 2020, said by halfway through the decade, we're going to be at this system that you can talk to, and it's really smart. It's like a smart person that can do work for you. I think we're going to maintain the same rate of progress, rate of improvement in these models for the second half of the decade as we did for the first. I wasn't so sure about that a couple of years ago. There were new research things to figure out, but now it looks like we'll be able to deliver on that. And so if you think forward to 2030 and the systems that we can have, these systems will be capable of remarkable new stuff. Novel scientific discovery, running extremely complex functions throughout society, and things that we just couldn't even imagine was possible before. To get there, to be able to deliver on this, it's really going to take, these are huge systems now, very complex engineering projects, very complex research. And to keep on this curve of scaling, we've got to work together across research, engineering, hardware, how we're going to deliver these systems and products. And this has gotten quite complex. But if we can do on that, if we can deliver on that, if we can drive this collaboration across the whole industry, we will keep this curve going. And so we're tremendously excited about the work that we're doing with AMD and what you all are going to deliver to, we'll keep delivering great models.
Sam, I can say that we really, really appreciate the work with OpenAI. You guys push us hard, but at the end of the day, we all want to deliver that vision. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah.
And thank you for the partnership too. See ya. Thank you.
All right, so as you can tell, we are super excited about what MI400 brings to the market. There are lots of active customer engagements already. This is about really co-optimizing together, but it really doesn't stop there. We're already deep into development of our 2027 rack that will push the envelope even further on performance, efficiency, and scalability with our next generation Verano CPUs and MI500 GPUs. So lots and lots of stuff to come from AMD. Now, that brings us to the close. It's truly been an amazing day. We've covered a lot, from the launch of MI350 series to our next generation MI400, to the Helios rack scale solutions, to all of the incredible momentum that we have building our open software and hardware ecosystems. And I really want to say a big thank you to all of our partners who joined us today on stage. There are a number of partners who have helped us with putting together this event. There are a number of breakout sessions I hope you guys get to later on in the day. And hopefully what you've gotten from today is that we're moving faster than ever before to deliver the best AI solutions for the market. But let me just end with a few personal thoughts. When I think about this past year, it's really redefined what progress in AI looks like. It's really moved at a pace unlike anything that we have seen in modern computing, frankly, anything that we've seen in our careers, and frankly, anything that we've seen in our lifetime. We in this community, I call this community the AI ecosystem, we're really at the center of everything that matters. And isn't that just an incredibly phenomenal place for us to be? I think of it as a journey. I've always said, this would be a journey, and I'm incredibly proud of how far we've come. But more than that, I'm actually really proud of how we're bringing together the technology, the talent, and the partners needed to make AI more powerful, more accessible, and more useful for everyone. The future of AI is not going to be built by any one company or in a closed ecosystem. It's going to be shaped by open collaboration across the industry. It's going to be shaped because everyone is bringing their best ideas, and it's going to be shaped because we're innovating together. So on behalf of all of us at AMD, We look forward to changing the world with you together. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me here.
Thanks for being here, John.
So talk to me about these systems. You got a chip sitting there next to you that's, I guess, fresh out of the oven. What is it that you're announcing here? What level of competition does that raise you to with the others out there?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, it's been a big day for AMD, really exciting. I love talking about our new products, you know that. So we just recently announced our MI355 chip. This is our newest AI chip, and it is fantastic. It's the best inference accelerator out there in the market. And you know, if you look at what's happening in AI today, we're just seeing so many more use cases, John. Like, people are using AI everywhere. And so one of the most important things for our customers is to get more efficiency from their chips. So when you think about tokens per dollar, that's kind of the metric that is used. And this chip will give you 40% more tokens per dollar, which just gives you the opportunity to offer AI at a much more affordable price across the world. So yes, very exciting. We also previewed our 2026 lineup. We're on an annual cadence now of new accelerators, and we're not just doing chips, but we're doing big rack scale systems. And so all of that was part of our announcements today.
And investors are puzzling over how the innovations will translate into share gains versus the likes of NVIDIA. So why is it beyond chips now, and why is it about racks? That was a big part of the ZT Systems acquisition. Put that into perspective with the go-to-market and the design component to satisfy the customer need.
Yeah, absolutely. So, look, we're really excited about the momentum that we're seeing in the AI market these days. If you look today, 7 out of the top 10, model builders and AI companies are using AMD products. That includes Meta, Oracle, OpenAI. Sam Altman was here with us today. Meta and Oracle were here. XAI, Tesla, to name a few. And when you think about what they need, what they really want is the latest generation hardware that gets into the data center and then gets into serving production workloads as fast as possible. And so to do that, you require, of course we require chips, but we're also putting a significant amount of investment into the software layer to make it just super easy to use. And we're also building rack scale solutions. So we just completed our ZT acquisition. We've added 1,000 design engineers, and the whole purpose is so that we can help our customers get to the market with our AI solutions as fast as physically possible.
You've got competition with NVIDIA at the high end, certainly. And then the hyperscalers, the big cloud providers, who are also now big AI providers, AWS, Azure, Google. They've got their homegrown AI chips that they're trying to use as much as possible to keep their costs lower, their margins higher. How do you play to both ends of that and win? How does openness fit into your strategy?
Yeah, well, John, when you think about it, I view we're still in the very early innings of AI. And frankly, as much as we've seen a ramp up in AI, we have sort of said that the market is going to grow over 60% annually for the next number of years to over $500 billion in 2028. That's a huge market. And, in that market, what people want is the most flexible and the most programmable, architectures out there. And that's really what we're building. And, the key point in this is, again, we believe in deep co-development with our partners. So hardware, software, systems coming together, making sure that we have the right compute for the right application. And, that's what we've shown. If you look at just how much improvement, I can just give you some stats, right? If you look at the solution that we're just talking about, the MI355, it's...
Hold it up high.
Oh, hold it up high, yes. I want to make sure everyone gets to see my new baby here. We're very happy that it is now out in production. But, this is like 3 times the performance of just what you saw last year. So, that's just how much value you're getting. And we previewed our next generation, our MI400 series, and there we're going to see like 10x, types of improvements. So that's how much we can get from the hardware and working closely with our partners. And you asked about open. Open is the foundation of what we do at AMD. I'm a real believer in the fact that an open ecosystem is how you get the best innovation into the market. So we have thousands of developers here today. They're playing with our hardware, they're learning our software, and we want all of them developing on our stuff so that we get the benefit of all of that innovation, and they get the benefit of bringing their best ideas in.